Hey seniors, today and for the rest of the week we're going to just be doing mixed review days where all we do is just review skills for our MLQ, which is on Thursday. So make sure you're paying attention, take really good notes, and I'm excited about it. Alright, so let's just remind ourselves of one thing. This skill is going to be all over your MLQ. To find the slope of a table, use change in y over change in x. I know you guys have done that a billion times, but make sure that's written in your notes page. To fill in tables, plug in values to find x and y. So sometimes I'm given values, other times I'm given blank tables, but either way, all I do is I find the slope and equation of my table, plug in values to find x and y. So if I had my equation y equals 5x plus 10, I could plug in values for x and plug in values for y to figure out what the corresponding value is. Let's go ahead and move into an example. Alright, so let's go ahead and look at this table. This is just a basic XY table where our values are increasing at a constant rate. So question A is asking us, what is the equation that can be used to find the value of y when the value of x is known? Okay, what that question is asking you to do is just to write an equation for this table. Because if I have my equation, I can find the value of y if I'm already given values of x. All it's asking you to do is write a basic equation. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to use change in y over change in x. So I'm going to have 5 minus 2.5 over change in x, which is 4 minus 2. 5 minus 250 is going to leave me with 250. 4 minus 2 is going to leave me with 2. And then if I divide this down, I'm left with 1.25. So that's going to be my slope. So I've just found half of my equation right there. 1.25x. Now I need to figure out what my y-intercept is. Now remember, to find my y-intercept, I have to figure out when x is 0, what the value of y is. If this table is increasing by 250 each time, or or 125 each interval, if I just go back one place, my y-intercept would just be 0. Now that I have my equation, I can answer parts B and part C. So part B is asking me, what is the value of the function when x equals 15? Again, that sounds really fancy, but all it's asking me to do is to take 15 and plug it in for x. So let's do that. So I have y equals 1.25, plug in 15, plus 0. If I multiply 1.25 times 15, I'm left with y equals 18.75. So that's my answer to that first one. Now let's answer part C. What is the value of x when y is 0? Well, based on my table, I actually already know that. The value of x has to also be 0, because if the value of y was 0, that was my y-intercept. But I can still go ahead and plug it in. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in 0 for y. So 0 equals 1.25x plus 0. Now, this really is the equation 0 equals 1.25x, because this 0 is irrelevant. To solve for x, all I do is I multiply by 1.25, and any number divided by 0 will just leave me with 0. So that's my answer for that one. So then, again, B and C are just asking you to plug in those values into your equation. Let's do another example. Alright guys, let's look at this table. Make sure this table is written in your notes page. Alright, my first question. What is the equation that can be used to find the value of y when the value of x is known? Again, this question is just asking me to write an equation from the table. So again, I'm going to do change in y over change in x. So I have 4 minus 2 over 0 minus negative 3. Be really careful that you have those two negatives there. 4 minus 2 will leave me with 2. 0 minus negative 3. If I keep change, I'm left with 3. So I have a slope here of y equals 2/3 x. Now I need to figure out what my y-intercept is. Well, I can go to my table where x is 0. The value of y is my y-intercept. So I have a y-intercept of 4. Okay, guys, let's move on to B and C. Again, all it's asking you to do, what is the value of the function when x equals 10? All it's asking you to do is plug in that number for x. So I have y equals 2 over 3, substitute in 10 for x, plus 4. I'm not going to take time to multiply this one out. You guys can do that on your own. I just wanted you to see it visually. And then for part C, what is the value of x when y is 0? Again, I would just plug in 0 for y equals 2/3 x plus 4. And then I would just solve for x from there by subtracting 4. And I'm left with negative 4 equals 2/3 x. And then I would solve for x by multiplying by the reciprocal. You can do that on your own. You don't actually need me to do that, but if you were to solve this out, my 2/3 would cancel out. I'm left with x equals 4 times 3 is 12, negative 12 over 2, so x would equal negative 6. X would equal negative 6. Alright guys, that's going to be it for me today. Let's go ahead and practice.